The call came just past midnight, cutting through the barracks' stillness like a blade. "Sir, your son was found locked in a basement." The voice was steady, almost rehearsed. "Child services." I blinked once, twice. The words hung in the air, waiting for me to react. "Starving," she added, "6 years old." Something rustled in the background, papers maybe, and then I heard it. A laugh, not the strained, brittle laugh of shock, the warm, unguarded sound of someone enjoying themselves. My wife's voice. "I thought he'd last 2 days, not a week," she said. "Tell that coward soldier dad to pay the hospital bills." The line didn't cut out. I cut it. For a moment my breathing sounded louder than the hum of the AC unit above my head. My hands didn't shake. Not then, not yet. I walked to my cot, sat down, and stared at the shadowed floor. I could still see his face, my boy's, sunlight in his hair, the stubborn tilt of his chin, and now I was picturing him in the dark. I requested emergency leave before sunrise. She had no idea I was coming home. Home looked the same. The white siding, the peeling porch steps, the wind chimes that had been there since the first deployment. I stepped inside. The air was heavy, overripe fruit and unwashed laundry. Her laughter wasn't here now, just silence. The hospital called an hour later. My son was stable, thin, withdrawn. He refused to speak to anyone but me. I sat at his bedside, tracing the faint bruises on his wrist with my eyes, not my fingers. His gaze flicked toward the doorway when I asked about her. He said nothing, but silence is its own confession. That night I didn't confront her. I let her talk. About bills, about how stress had made her sick, about how I should have been here. Her face was pale, but her eyes were steady, too steady. I watched her hands. Perfect nails, not a mark on them. I wondered what they looked like when she turned the basement lock. I started quietly. The house phone. Missed calls from numbers I didn't know. One repeated at odd hours. Bank statements. Withdrawals in cash. Places she never told me she went. A neighbor said they hadn't seen my son outside in months. At night when she slept, I stood in the doorway and studied her breathing. Even, slow, like someone who believed they were safe. I kept my voice calm, my touch distant, my mind sharp. It wasn't enough to know she'd done it. I needed to know why. 3 days in, I found it. Her private email. Messages to a man I'd never met. Not romantic, worse. He was the one who helped when she needed a break from parenting. He'd suggested tough love. He'd been in the house, and my son had been in the basement. I didn't tell her I knew. I wanted her to feel the ground give way under her, inch by inch, before she saw the fall. The security footage arrived in a plain envelope. A camera from the neighbor's garage faced part of our yard. She was there, dragging him by the arm, barefoot, into the basement door. No hesitation, no fear, just routine. I burned the image into my memory. When I placed the printed still frame in front of her at breakfast, she froze mid-sip. Coffee spilled onto the table. She looked at me, searching for something. Anger, shouting, the storm she could weather. I gave her none. "I already know everything," I said. Her lips parted, but no words came. She was calculating. I was counting the seconds it took for her face to pale. I didn't scream. I didn't threaten. I told her what I'd done. Copies of the footage sent to Child Services, the police, and her parents. Every bank statement, every message archived. I told her custody was no longer a fight. It was a formality. She asked if I'd ruin her. I smiled, not with cruelty, but with precision. I don't have to. You did. I stood, collected my bag, and left her sitting in the kitchen with the image of her crime inches from her plate. No slammed doors, no final words, just the weight of everything she'd lose pressing in on her. My son sleeps without locks now. The first night home, he asked if I'd check the door. I told him I already had. I don't think about her voice on that call anymore. I think about the silence after I hung up. That was the real beginning. She's not in prison yet, but she's trapped in the loss of her reputation, her friends, her family. Every person she knows has seen what she did. I used to believe betrayal needed vengeance. I don't anymore. It needs sunlight, and I've opened every curtain.